God forbid, we don't want him to come back and make all these changes.
Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, Senior Pastor of New Life Christian Center, located at 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809, at the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road. We invite you to come and worship with us on Sunday at 10 a.m. We invite you to come and experience a better quality of life. There's parking on Hillcrest. We are the brown brick building located right on the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road. We are excited about being reopened, and we invite you to come and experience a better quality of life. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast, as always, is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app to support the broadcast, and those of you that have made a weekly and monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution page of our website at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com, we thank you for your continued support and your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we are here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to address whatever topics are important to you, whatever issues of life you find challenging or difficult to navigate. So I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your sister is a know-it-all, and this has caused some conflict between the two of you and caused her some personal issues, both personally and professionally. However, you really want to help her and you want to improve her life, and you want to know how do you go about doing that. So let me begin by saying this. You have to be able to communicate in a way that is not going to be offensive to your sister, your sibling, because if you communicate in a manner that is offensive, she's going to shut down. She's not going to receive what you are sharing with her. You have known her your entire life. You know her personality. But you need to make certain that if you really are going to be of help to her, that you focus on what the issues are. Don't get off track. Don't get off course by bringing up things that happened in your childhood. Don't get off course or distracted by bringing up things that, she has done that has, caused you some emotional disruption, because you don't want the narrative to become about you. You want the narrative to focus on how she can improve the quality of her life. So sit down with her and have a conversation. Communicate with her about what you see the personal issues are and the professional issues are. You're going to have to lay it out in a way that she will find that the tools you provide her are tools that she can use to build a better quality of life. You can't just tell her that you want her to improve her life. You need to give her the tools. You need to be able to give her the tools, provide her with tools that are going to allow her to build a better quality of life. That's really how we can help someone when we recognize that there are some personal issues, that there are some professional issues. We want to make certain that we do whatever we can do to help each and every one of us build a better quality of life. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line, and we will place you into our queue. You will be placed into our queue so that you can become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you do not like conflict or drama, and lately it appears that all your family and friends want to do is live with conflict and drama. Okay, let me begin by saying this. What's interesting is that we all understand that we do not get to choose our family, we do get to choose our friends. You have to decide just exactly how much conflict and drama your friends and family are participating in. And you have to separate yourself. You know, the simple version would be don't participate. But you have to decide that if they're going to live with conflict and drama, that you do not choose to be a part of that. And that is a conscious decision that you get to make. First of all, if you have friends who are just living with conflict and drama, then you need new friends. Separate yourself from people who are familiar to you, that you feel comfortable with, who make you feel that you are acceptable, and get out of your comfort zone and surround yourself with some people who are not living with conflict, who are not living with drama, who choose to live with excellence, who choose to seek excellence, who really choose to have a great quality of life. Surround yourself with those types of people. Eliminate the conflict, eliminate the drama. It's not necessary for us to live with conflict and drama in our lives. And let me make certain that we all understand this. Bad things do happen to good people. There are going to be moments in our lives when we're going to experience some conflict. There may be even some moments in our lives when some drama will occur that could be related to health and wellness. It could be related to emotional disruption. It could be related to numerous topics. But those moments only occur periodically over the course of our lifetime. So if you're talking to people, or you have people around you who every day they have conflict, every day they have drama, every week they have conflict, every week they have drama, every month they have conflict, and every month they have drama, they're not living a great quality of life. They're not living a good quality of life. They're living with disruption. You do not have to participate in the conflict or the drama. You have to decide that you're going to, first of all, search for your peace in every day. And then you're going to have to apply peace to your life. You're going to have to stop allowing other people to stress you out. And you're going to have to stop stressing yourself out dealing with people who are living with conflict and living with drama. So often we do things the wrong way for so long we think it's the right way to do them. So if you've been living around conflict and you've been living around drama, you think that that's normal. The reality is that that's dysfunction. And what we don't want in our lives is dysfunction. We want to be able to function and perform at the highest level. And in order for us to be able to do that, we have to eliminate the dysfunction from our lives. We have to eliminate the conflict from our lives. We have to eliminate the drama from our lives. But so many people have been living with conflict and drama so long that they think it's the normal way to live. This is not what God intended for us. This is not what God expects for our lives. He has an expected end for us. He has a plan for each and every one of us, and it's of good and not of evil. So we know that God is not the author of confusion, and because he's not the author of confusion, but of peace, that means that we should be living with peace, not with conflict and not with drama. Separate yourself from an ungodly presence, because that's exactly what conflict and drama is. It is not where the presence of God dwells. And I don't know about anyone else, but actually I do, because that's a rhetorical statement. I don't choose to dwell any place where God doesn't dwell, where the Spirit of God is not present. And the Spirit of God cannot be present if we're living our lives with conflict and with drama. And I want to encourage us all today. Listen, we constantly talk about building a better quality of life. We talk about maximizing our success. We talk about experiencing the fullness of God in all of our lives. We talk about these things, but we also have to implement them. We have to work to ensure every single day that we are building the best quality of life that we possibly can for ourselves, our family, and our loved ones. Now, that does not imply that we have to take on the responsibility of other people's households. People are going to do what they choose to do and live the way they choose to live. Our job is to make certain that we build a better quality of life so that we can be an example to someone else who's struggling, someone else is finding life to be difficult. We want to be an example that there's a better way to do that. And so I'm going to encourage us all today. Let's make certain that if we have any conflict, confusion, or drama in our lives, let's eliminate that from the equation of our lives. Let's eliminate that and search for our peace, find our peace, and live within our peace. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by, so you all see that I'm in golf attire today, and I'll be in golf attire for the remainder of the summer until the beginning of September. And the reason is because we have golf sponsors for our Achievers Golf Academy. We have golf sponsors for our annual golf tournament. And so you'll see me in golf attire for the remainder of this summer. But I will say this to you, times have changed. Warrior Custom Golf has made certain that you no longer need to spend big money for great golf clubs. They believe that you should have the ultimate experience with quality golf clubs that don't break the bank. So you can go to warriorcustomgolf.com and you can look at what type of, if you're a golfer or if you know someone who's a golfer, you can look at what type of equipment they have available, and you can order custom golf clubs from warriorcustomgolf.com. And in that, you can find golf attire by going to Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK, and also they have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So you'll have to go to ctshirts.com and in the search bar type in the word golf, and you will see all the golf attire that Charles Tyrwhitt has to offer at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door. As you know, they're our annual sponsor also, but during this golf season, you can go to Charles Tyrwhitt. You can find the golf attire that they have to offer at ctshirts.com. And if you're looking for golf clubs, we're encouraging everyone to take a look at the game of golf, because the game of golf accomplishes so much in our lives. And one of the things that it will accomplish is business opportunities that you may not have had in your career previously. But you can go to Warrior Custom Golf at warriorcustomgolf.com, and they will make it easy for you to order great golf clubs without spending great money. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your brother has an addiction, and as much as he says he wants to change the habit, he continues to participate in the same behavior. So there's an old adage that says this: your brother will overcome his addiction when he's sick and tired of being sick and tired. He will change when he is sick and tired of the life that he's living right now. What you're going to have to do is what you've always done. You're going to have to continue praying for him, continue to love him, pardon me, continue to be emotionally supportive of him. I'm not suggesting or recommending that you support his addiction. I am recommending and suggesting that you be emotionally supportive, encourage him to overcome that addiction so that he can build a better quality of life. But change will only come when he's ready to change. And that's the one thing that you need to be aware of. You need to understand that he's not going to change until he wants to change. As much as you have talked to him about the fact, and you didn't go into the addiction in your communication, but God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life, he is an alcoholic. Well, the reality is he's a functioning alcoholic, but you have seen the impact that it's had on his family and on your family. You've seen the impact that this addiction has had on his life. Continue to encourage him to have a better quality of life. Continue to encourage him to get help. Continue to encourage him to find out what the underlying current is that has created this addiction and maintains the addiction. Encourage him to seek some outside help. And after you've done all of that, and after you have been emotionally supportive, and after you have made every effort to encourage and support him as his sibling, you have to let him get to the place where he wants to make change. Allow him to get to that place so that he can then have a better quality of life. And in other words, you know, there's a scripture that says, when someone doesn't receive your word, stamp the dust off your feet and keep it moving. I'm paraphrasing, but it says stamp the dust off your feet and continue on your journey. Your journey of life is not your brother's journey of life. This is, and let me be very clear about this. I'm not diminishing the impact that alcoholism has on each individual. As a matter of fact, I was reading an article yesterday about how scientists in the UK have determined that no alcohol consumption is good for your brain. It has an impact on the brain cells. And this is a study that's been done in the UK that determines, you know, some people will say, well, I can have a little wine, I can have a little of this, a little of that, as long as there's not a lot of alcohol content and I'm not getting intoxicated, I can do that. Well, the study shows that even the smallest amount of alcohol content will have a damaging effect on the brain. That's just the reality. Now, when it damages brain cells, that doesn't mean that immediately you're not going to be able to function. It just means that over time, the older we get, the longer we live, it's going to have an impact on our brain cells. We could also contribute some of that to diet and exercise, but that's neither here nor there. The topic here is alcoholism. And so your brother's suffering from that. Now, here's something that God revealed to me also. Encourage your brother to change his habits, not to change his addiction. And what I mean by that is encourage him to start getting some exercise. Encourage him to change his dietary habits. if he's going to make change, it's going to be gradual improvement of the quality of his life. He's going to become tired of dealing with waking up with a hangover. He's going to someday tire of the effect that it has on his family. But alcoholism is a disease, it's a sickness. And one of the things that you're going to have to encourage him to do also is to get back to the basics. You know, when you were growing up, God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life, when you were growing up, your parents had you in church. Encourage him to return to church. Now, you're not in our area. I certainly would invite you to bring him to our church at New Life Christian Center. However, you're not in our area, so at least invite him to go and worship. Invite him to go to church. You know, if he's out on Saturday night drinking and not going home, encourage him to get up on Sunday morning and go to church with you, or go to church with his family. There are ways for him to improve the quality of his life, but the change will not occur until he's ready for change. You can't stress yourself out about it, but you can be emotionally supportive in the sense of continuing to encourage him. I'm not suggesting that you are going to beat him over the head with right or wrong. What I'm suggesting is that you have a conversation with him continuously. When he doesn't want to hear it, then keep moving. But just communicate with him. Let him know that you love him, but encourage him to develop a better quality of life. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers, but before I do, I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers that we are in the process of expanding our platforms. We will be launching soon on RadioFreeNetwork.com. We want to make certain that all of our listeners and viewers have a place to go on whatever platform you choose to hear from God and to tune in for the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. With all of your communications, we will respond to them on subsequent broadcasts. As God speaks to me, I will speak to you, but we are thankful to be in your viewing environment every day, and we just want to make certain that wherever you are across the U.S. and wherever you are around the globe, whatever platforms you decide to use, technology platforms that you decide to use for your own benefit, we want to be there. And so we are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you do not feel that you have the relationship with your children that you would like to have, and you want to know what can you do to make the relationship with your children much better. So, here's what God showed me in that secret place of your life as I was prayerful about this. The problem is that you're trying to be your children's friend. You're trying to be friends with your children. You're not their friend, you're their parent. Now, that doesn't imply that as parents we can't go out to dinner with our children, or we can't go to some type of activity or sporting event, or there may be things that go to a museum or go to a play. It's not to say that we cannot do those things with our children. But our children are our children, and we are the parents. We are not here to be their friends. We're not here. The problem is we think that if we are their friends, that they will communicate with us about what's going on in their lives. Our children are going to share with us what they want to share with us and nothing more. We can ask questions about what's going on in their lives, and if we're really engaged, active and engaged parents, sometimes all you need to do is lay eyes on your children. Sometimes all you need to do is look them in the eye. Sometimes all we need to do is look at the patterns. Are they calling the way they've always called? Are they texting the way they've always texted? Look in their eyes when we see them, and if we're really active and engaged, we'll know if there's something going on that needs to be addressed, and then we can communicate with them in a way that will allow us to address it. But trying to hang out with our children because we want to hang out with them and their friends, we're not their peers, we're their parents. And we have to recognize the importance of separating the two. And the reason is because our job as parents are to guide our children and instruct our children. You know, they're either going to learn by instruction or by consequence. We hope that they don't learn by the consequence. We would prefer that they learn by the instruction of our life experiences. The reality is that our job is to give them guidance. For those of us who focus on the Word of God being a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path, we don't have to quote scripture and verse, but we can use those examples of the scriptures to give them the guidance that they need to get to the place that God has appointed for their lives. We can also use our own life experiences and the consequences or results of our life experiences to give them guidance, to help them to understand and to navigate the society in which we live. And I know people will say, well, everything changes, but so does history repeat itself. So we've got to recognize that even though some things are constantly changing, there are still methods that we've used in the past to address life experiences that we've had along the way that have at least gotten us to a point where we could not only survive, but we could thrive, and that will help our children to survive and thrive during whatever life experiences they may encounter along the way. Our job is to help them to navigate life, the culture we live within, the society that we're living within. Now, I'm not suggesting that you're going to be able to raise them once they become adults. What I'm suggesting is we raise them when we're children, and when we raise up a child in the way they should go, when they grow old, they won't depart from it. They might depart from for a while, but when they grow old, they won't depart. They'll return to the basics of what they know. Truth be told, they're really going to receive some guidance also by our example, our daily example. How are we living our lives? And if we're spending our lives trying to live within the pop culture that our children are living within, we are never going to be effective and efficient as parents. And that's the job that God has given us, is to be a parent to our children, not to be their peers or their friend. And I want to encourage everyone, because it's real important that we are active and engaged parents. And now I want to be clear on this, because I don't want anyone leaving the broadcast today, leaving this viewing environment and saying, Pastor told me I need to go and get in my children's business. That's not what I'm saying to you. And particularly if they're adults. They have to live their lives also. We just want to make certain that we give them the guidance and the instruction necessary to build a great quality of life. We want to make certain that they're performing and thriving at the highest level. And we can encourage them to do that, first of all, by example. And we can encourage them to do that by communicating with them in a way that they'll understand. Hanging out with your children and their friends, doing the things that your children and their friends are doing, is not going to be effective, or as a parent, it's not going to be effective. Being the cool parent is not effective. Being the best parent we can be is what's going to be effective in making certain that our children get to the place that God has appointed for their life. A lot of that is by example. And so I want to encourage us all as parents to be the best version of ourselves that we can become. Live this life according to the Word of God. Not being perfect, but being perfected, because our children need to know we're not perfect either. But they need to know that if we walk this journey with the Lord in our lives, we will all have a better quality of life. I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, if you're in our area, come and worship with us at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue, at the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809 on Sunday at 10 a.m. I'll look forward to seeing you. If you're not in our area, tune in for the Sunday sermon at 10:45 a.m. We encourage